Andrew was just like a brother to her. But before you know it, a shoulder to cry on, a shoulder to cry on, bestie, another thing happens. Hi guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Uche, and if this is your first time on this channel and you're not subscribed yet, please click on the subscribe button down below so you get notified whenever I post a new video. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for coming back. I hope you're having fun with the content that I'm posting here, and I also hope it's inspiring you to pick up a book and read, guys. So in this video I'm going to be reviewing the book An American Marriage by Tayari Jones. So this book was published in 2018, and in 2019 it won the Women's Prize for Fiction. Can you beat that? This book is told in the points of views of the three main characters in this book. Yeah, so we have Roy and Celestial, and we have Andre. So these three individuals, they are connected, yeah, so they share a relationship. So I'm just going to be explaining that shortly. Now, Roy and Celestial, they're husband and wife, they're married, while Andre is the childhood friend of Celestial, and later on he became the best friend of Roy. He was even the best man at Roy's wedding to Celestial. This is just basically the relationship that they share with each other. And Celestial is described as this girl that is from a wealthy home, while Roy is just from the average family, and he went to school, got a job, and he met Celestial through Andre in the very first place. But years later they met again and they decided to pick up a relationship from there. So Roy and Celestial, they were only married for 1 year and 6 months before he was falsely accused of raping a woman that is older than his own mother. So he was sent to prison. He was sentenced to 12 years imprisonment. And we see the American justice system. We see how warped it is. We see how in fact it's very, very annoying, because now an innocent person is being sent to jail for something he doesn't even know about. So I just feel investigations were not conducted properly. And at the time when this woman was being raped, Roy was with his wife Celestial. He slept off before his wife. Even his wife was his alibi, but you know, it's easy for them to say, oh, she's his wife, of course she's going to defend him. So the situation that we just see in this book, as it concerns the American judicial system, we see that it's almost like it's a thing for every young black man to go to prison, because there in prison, Roy came in contact with his biological father. So just imagine how it is. This man is in prison, his son comes to meet him in prison. Who knows if Roy's own son would come to that prison? It's just like you're graduating from prison. You know, it really doesn't make sense. So when Roy got to this prison at first, you know, he was always exchanging letters with Celestial. So Celestial has this business that she does. She makes dolls. It was like her husband was you know, giving her ideas. She was the hand behind the work, so she was the one that was doing the needlework for the doll, while her husband was kind of like the brain behind it. So he was giving her ideas because they wanted to really make it a really big business, their own business. But while Roy was in prison, it was just Celestial that had to just get a shop, you know, continue the business and stuff like that. And she was really, really good at what she was doing. At first, when Roy was in prison, he was exchanging letters with Celestial. The letters were frequent, you know, they would end it with "your dearest, my Georgia," you know, that kind of thing. It was just sweet. You see that this couple, they're actually in love. They love each other. You know, their love was just so beautiful to read about, because on Roy and Celestial's first date, he had lost his bottom tooth, and that was because he was chasing after a burglar who had made away with Celestial's property from her house. So he lost his tooth, and it was at that point that Celestial was like, it's just this guy for me. So it was just beautiful. You know, they were exchanging letters, and before you know, the letters that were frequent became less frequent. And that was on Celestial's side, because Roy is in prison, so he has all the time in the world to send his wife letters. But you know, there were constraints on Celestial's side. She was busy with work, but even the tone of her letters, it was not moving again. So it was at that point that we would get to know that okay, something is already wrong. Now in comes Andre. Andre is just that friend, you know, he was the shoulder to cry on for Celestial. But the thing is, Andre has always been in love with Celestial. He practically grew up with Celestial, so he has always been in love with her, but you know, she didn't see him that way. Andre was just like a brother to her. But before you know it though, a shoulder to cry on, bestie, another thing happened. So Andre and Celestial began their own relationship while Roy was there in prison. So it was, oh god, that part was just, I felt like that was the ultimate betrayal. That was the utmost betrayal, because it now felt to me as if Andre and Celestial, they didn't even want Roy to even be released from prison so that they can continue their affair or their relationship. But as it would be, Roy came out from prison after spending just 5 years. But the good thing was that it was Celestial's family that was paying the bills for the lawyer, and so he had good lawyers just because he was married to Celestial. So they had the money. Remember I told you that Celestial is from a wealthy family, so they had the money to pay the lawyer's bills, and even the lawyer that was representing Roy is Celestial's uncle. So Roy came out from prison. His mother had died. His mother that he loved so much and that loved him so much had died from cancer, and so he just had his stepfather that he grew up with to go back to. And you know, he was expecting after prison, let me go and meet my wife, and you know, you're hearing different things. By that time, Andre had even proposed to Celestial, so it was like okay. So there was just different conflict. Other characters in the book felt like they were doing Roy a great wrong. I felt it too, because I mean, this man has had everything taken away from him, and you know how hard it is for ex-convicts to get a job in society. I mean, it's just so hard for ex-convicts to get jobs, and that's why some of them, they go back to crime, because no decent establishment will want to have them working for them, and it's not as if he can go back to his former job. And now the one thing that okay, that has been giving him hope, kind of like his light at the end of the tunnel, his wife has been taken away by his best friend. So there was just this, the emotions ran raw in this book. So there was just this conflict of emotions, you know, things were just going crazy. And I'm not trying to say okay, Roy was the perfect man or the perfect husband, but I mean, he's a good guy. He's just that good guy, and I was really rooting for Roy and Celestial's relationship. I really wanted their marriage to continue, but it just happened that Celestial was already far too deep with Andre, and in fact, by the time these characters are telling it from their own perspectives, you will just be torn between three sides. But I knew the person I was rooting for, the person I was in support of, was Roy. It was, I mean, for this book, I wasn't even halfway through this book when I knew that this was going to be one of my favorite books that I've read. This book is, I'm not calling it favorite for calling's sake. This book is just it for me. I mean, this book is beautifully written. The story, god, the story is so sad. I'm not even a fan of Celestial. I don't like Celestial because I feel she was a coward. I mean, when Roy came out from prison, why is it that she needed Andre to be there before she could talk to Roy? I feel that was just a cowardly thing for her to do. Speak to your husband. This is your husband. You're married to him. You did not divorce him. I feel it would have been better if she had sent Roy divorce papers up front, so that he doesn't have this hope that okay, his wife is there, because even up to the very last moment, Roy was still having this hope that his wife was going to come back to him, she was going to be with him. He was ready to forgive her for going with his best friend, but because he was like, okay, it's just like body no be firewood, so it's possible that she might have had her needs and Andre was just available. And you know, it just leads me to question this relationship between Celestial and Andre. So on Celestial's end, will I say it's real love? In fact, I don't feel that the love between Celestial and Andre is as pure as it was with Roy and Celestial. I just feel like is just second best. And we can see how Celestial was torn between two men, between Roy and Andre. It's just like you would sing this popular Tony Cecilia song and you say,
I'm in love with two women, I don't know which one to take.
I'm in love with two men, I don't know which one to take. Because later when she came to terms with the fact that okay, Roy was already out of prison, it just felt like she was torn. She didn't even know the one to pick, but she knows that okay, the right thing to do was to go back to her husband. But there was just this confusion everywhere, and I'm just glad that Roy actually took the initiative and did the right thing for himself, because in the long run it doesn't make sense being with a wife that is not 100% your wife. She's not fully there, you know, she's torn between her feelings with another man. Who knows, in the future she can still go out and still cheat on you. But I really would have preferred it if Celestial's love for her husband was really enduring. If she had visited him more in prison, yes, it would not have been easy, but she just should have. She was his wife. He was the love of her life. So I felt that she would have done more. Even how long does it take to write a letter? Even if she's not there every time, at least she would have kept the letter coming. You know, she would have kept up with the correspondence. But it is what it is. So there are a lot of issues that are discussed here. We see fatherhood, we see absent fathers in this book, we see family, we see how important family is, both for Celestial, for Roy. There's this love that is undeniably yours from your family. There's this undeniable love that your parents just give to you, like it's unconditional. So we see this here. I was angry at Celestial and Andre for how they had betrayed Roy, but you know, by the time I got to the epilogue, I just had this agreeing feeling. I was calm, I was cool. I mean, I'm not going to cry more than the bereaved. So I like the way the book ended. It was fine. That leads me to the question: if you are the one in Celestial's shoes, what would you do? I know we can't dictate emotions. We can't say, okay, this is who we choose to love. Love just comes like that. But in that situation, your husband is in prison or your wife is in prison and this best friend is there. I mean, she could have had an affair with someone else, someone that was outside. But your husband's best friend, it screams no on different fronts. Like, it just screams no. That was, man. You're overreaching. I mean, I felt she was overreaching a lot. And also the question, can you remain friends with your ex? Are you still friends with your ex? I'm not friends with my ex because I really feel there's no point being friends with your ex. And you know, there are some people that will say, oh, it's not good to burn bridges and all, but I feel for me it's a whole lot more complicated than that, because I mean, you're an ex for a reason. It's not as if, okay, maybe I hate this person or I wish bad on this person, but if something is done, I just feel that it's done. Because now by the time you maintain correspondence with your ex, there are these feelings that should have been better left locked. In fact, to avoid shalaye, I feel I mean, I really do not have any business being friends with my ex. So we can be cordial to each other, we can be civil to each other. It's yes, the person that you once loved, oh yes, fine, but I just feel that's just what it is. But that's my own opinion. I would love to hear your thoughts or your opinions on this. Are you friends with your ex? Do you think you should remain friends with your ex? Should you be in constant contact with your ex? That's just the question. Thank you so much for watching. Do not forget to click on the like button, leave your comments, of course, share this video with your friends, and click on the subscribe button. Make sure you're subscribed to this channel. Bye guys.